The man stretched his arm out of the train window. 7 minutes later, his entire arm had frozen into an ice sculpture. The man in the suit tapped it lightly, producing a crisp sound, then grabbed a large iron hammer, swung it, and smashed it down. The people below didn't dare make a sound. After all, he had only thrown a shoe at a wealthy person, and yet he faced such torture. In the future, to combat the worsening greenhouse effect, countries around the world launched a freezing machine codenamed CW7. The plan was to lower global temperatures to a controllable range, but it unexpectedly triggered a series of chain reactions, plunging the Earth into an ice age. Most people froze to death, while the survivors took refuge on a massive, perpetually moving train that circled the globe. By now, it had been running for 17 years. Inside, people were divided into classes. The wealthy rode at the front, eating steak and partying daily. The middle class served as enforcers and soldiers in the middle cars. And the poor, who had no ticket but managed to sneak on, were subjected to brutal control in the rear cars. The space was cramped, the air thick with body odor, sweat, and the stench of decay. And every day they could only eat blackish protein blocks. On top of that, the front would send people to kidnap children, and any resistance was met with torture, like the man who had thrown the shoe. Such continuous oppression naturally led to rebellion among the rear car's poor, and Chris was their leader. For years, they had been collecting iron barrels, preparing for the moment they could break through the front gates. Everything was ready. They just needed the right opportunity. One day, while everyone was lined up for food as usual, 3 electric gates at the front unexpectedly opened simultaneously. Chris knew the time had come. He dropped his protein block, rushed through the crowd toward the soldiers, grabbed a soldier's gun, and pulled the trigger. It turned out the bullets had already been used up 4 years ago during a suppressed uprising. Chris had gambled correctly. Receiving the signal, the others lifted iron barrels and pushed them forward to block the carriage doors. Chris led the charge, engaging in hand-to-hand combat with the soldiers. The crowd surged forward, quickly overwhelming the frontline soldiers. But the soldiers were tough opponents. One large, bald soldier swung a massive iron block back and forth, and the rebels couldn't handle him. At that moment, a young man took off his jacket, accelerated, leapt onto the bald soldier, and drove a knife into his heart. They also obtained the prison keys. Chris's next plan was to rescue the safety expert Jillian from the train prison. Jillian knew how to open the electric train doors. The train prison consisted of cabinet-like cells, and as expected, the prisoner Jillian was inside. But he wouldn't help for free. His daughter had to come along, and opening each door cost 2 chronos. Jillian's daughter Yuna had a special skill. Her ears were so sharp she could hear how many people were behind each door. Using her ability, they opened the first prison door. This carriage had previously housed soldiers, but it was now empty. For the first time in 17 years, the oppressed rear car passengers saw the outside world. Sunlight touched their faces for the first time, and the world outside looked just like it had before they boarded, still covered in ice and snow. Next, they moved to the following carriage, where protein blocks were mass-produced. Despite eating these blocks for 17 years, no one knew what they were made of. Climbing to the top of the machinery, Chris was shocked when he saw the raw material.